Welcome to Earth Radiance TV. I'm your host, Tammie Pike, and I'm so honoured to have you on this journey of self-love and self-discovery with me. I have created Earth Radiance TV as a remedy to combat women feeling alone in life, love, family, and business. Within this series, I will be interviewing women who are going against the normalcy of society and are living, loving, mothering, and doing business their own unique way. So get comfortable and give yourself permission to be inspired by the wisdom, love, learnings, and truth of each woman as she unfolds her journey with you. Welcome, beautiful, to Earth Radiance, a place for you to be real, be wild, and be you. Welcome everyone to another episode of Earth Radiance TV. And today I am so delighted to be talking to another amazing mum entrepreneur, amazing woman, and someone who I have been connected with for many years. Thank you so much, Karen, for being here today.
I'm so thrilled to be here, Tammie.
So a little bit about Karen. Karen mentors women and men who find they just can't do things the way everyone says they should, because the proven strategies and cookie cutter methods out there just don't resonate with them. She's passionate about eradicating your self-doubt and lack of self-belief so that you can line up with this feeling inside of you that there's got to be another way to do life and business. Karen is a mother of 3 daughters, an entrepreneur, speaker, writer, and energetic frequency alignment activator. And also she inspires so many people to truly start listening to their inner desires, needs, and wants, and helps them manifest in such a beautiful, authentic, soulful way. So Karen, again, like, to have you on the show is really so, it's like an amazing moment for me, but for all those who get to watch this, because you really are an inspiration for so many in business, as well as doing it a different way, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. The doing life and business your way is really something that is so close to my heart, because I have struggled all my life with being different and wanting to do things differently, or wanting to do things my way, more importantly, and then other people saying, no, well, there's actually a way that we do it and your way doesn't fit with that, so it's not going to work, or it's not possible. And really the biggest change that came for me in my business was actually making a declaration that my way works, and I'm just going to give it a go, because I'd got to that point where things just weren't working, and I had invested thousands in mentors, business coaches, programs, and I was doing everything that they told me to do, even though it wasn't resonating with me. It just didn't feel like the right fit for me, but I had no one else to tell me that there was another way. So I thought, look, I've got to just give it a go. I've got to do it, because you can't, what I was saying to myself was, you can't diss it and throw it aside if you haven't tried it. So I tried it, and it just didn't bring me the results that I wanted to get. And I got to this point where, my husband came to me and said, look, what it looks to me like what you've got here is a hobby, and we really need your income. The children are old enough now, it's time for you to, we honored the fact that you wanted to be a stay-at-home mum and you wanted to nurture the children in the way that you felt was really important to giving them that best start in life. Now it's time for you to really start bringing in money. And I was feeling the same, to be honest. I was kind of like, yeah, where is this? Where is it? Where is this success that I should be getting, because I'm following the proven strategies? And I was starting to feel like, I don't know if this is ever going to work. And when my husband said to me, well, the other alternative is to go get a job, I just sat down and cried, because I thought, I've come so far. I've put myself out there. I have, overcome my limiting beliefs. I've overcome my fears. I'm doing everything that I believe is right to get myself to this point. How can I now go and get a job? What would I even do? Because I feel like I've come so far in kind of connecting with what my message is, what I'm here to bring to the world. and I'm here to make a big difference. And I just couldn't, I couldn't resign myself to the fact that I was going to do this soul crushing day job thing. And it was in that moment that I thought, okay, what's my alternative? And my only alternative was to start to listen to my knowing, to that inner wisdom. And that inner wisdom that had been telling me all along that your way works, Karen, just do it your way. If you think that you can use energy and intuition to affect the way your business unfolds, do it. What have you got to lose? Line up with it, do it. Get out there. And everything changed from that moment when I acknowledged that actually my knowing knows. My knowing knows. And it had the, I don't believe that we have a path outlined for us, but we have these intentions of, how we're going to fit in with what's going on, on the planet at the time that we're here. And our knowing knows that. It knows exactly what we wanted to do and be and have. And it just makes so much sense that we tap into that for our answers, instead of continually going and looking outside of ourselves and looking to other people whose methods worked for them. But if they're not resonating for you, you've got to find what does resonate. And of course, for most of us that are struggling with this, it's because we have a totally different way of doing things to what the mainstream does. And we've got to be confident enough to tap into that and go, actually, you know what? I've got these weaknesses for a reason. I've got this, personality for a reason, and I've got these traits for a reason, and they're not things that are going to hold me back, because that's what people have always said, that will hold you back. These are the things that are actually going to open everything for us. We can be the mum we want to be. We can have the business we want to have,
Yeah, amazing. And I resonate with everything you have said, because I've done exactly the same, struggling with trying to fit into this program or what this coach says. And I felt like, why am I not always implementing everything they said? Because I wasn't trusting me. I wasn't trusting that my soul's going, this isn't for you. And instead I was being harsh on myself, saying, well, you failed at that. And it took me on a really deep path of self-acceptance, self-respect, in honoring what I actually need and want. And then, I think we get to this point where we either give up, or we jump off that mountain, or that next precipice, and going, I've got to trust myself. I've got to trust this inner knowing and the desires that are telling me, or the signs that are saying, you're different, do it your way, find your way. But you're going, no one else has done my way. How do I do this? I need to be, in all of our teachings going to school, we get shown a structure. This is your structure. This is how you do A, B, C. And yet when we start really connecting to our intuition, it totally gets rid of all that. And it's like, you got to start trusting yourself. And sometimes it can feel like you're in the dark. But this is, I guess, the true path of the soul, is walking one step at a time in flow, and listening to what's going on around you, what's going inside of you, and not trying, but doing the best you can with the decisions and the knowing you have, isn't it? And just knowing it's best.
I absolutely agree. And I love what you said when you said one step at a time. It really does feel like that. It feels like, what is my next step? I'm tuning in every step of the way, and it's not even for me, I used to ask, what is my next step? But now I just expect that my next step will be shown. It has to be shown, because I've made this commitment to work and live in communion with my intuition. And I always say intuition is the antidote to self-doubt. I've never come across anything else that can eradicate self-doubt like following your intuition. It's like, it knows it's always right, always. And so if we just can trust that and keep taking one step, every step that gets shown, just take that with that faith and that trust that I'm heading where I want to go. Like, I've asked for this business that contributes to my family's income and that gives me freedom and allows me to put more money back into the world to, you know, create the change that I want to create. And I've asked for that. And when I ask for it, it's done. It's provided for me. I just have to get out of the way and get on the right path for it to be able to be kind of lined up with me and come my way. And the fastest and most efficient way to do that is to follow the breadcrumbs that your intuition, you know, is laying out before you. It's easier said than done, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing, because what I want to bring up is that, and it was so beautifully shown to me again, that this mentality is out there of the mindset that a woman who follows her intuition and her own way is going against all the conditioning we've ever been taught. We're going against everything that our mothers were taught. Not all people, but a lot, a majority, okay? And we are so disconnected from our intuition because that's our innate power. That's, you know, what makes us a woman. Yet, what happens, I think, is that a lot of us are scared to actually own that power because we've been, you know, we've been ostracized for it. We've been, you know, hurt because of it. We've been, you know, told that we aren't good enough or worthy enough, all these kind of things to try and disconnect us from that innate power. But we are seeing this rise in women, especially in business, because they're tuning in to their intuition, and their success is astounding. And it's not based on greed. It's not based on competitiveness. It's based on heart-centered intuitiveness, connection, and support of one another, collaboration. So for the women who are watching, who are open to connecting more to their intuition but are scared to, what do you have to share with that? Like, because there is such a huge taboo still on women listening to their intuition and following it.
It's really interesting. It's such an interesting topic because in the kind of, you know, patriarchal society that we were all programmed into or conditioned into, there are many, many men who follow their intuition. It's just not labeled intuition. It's kind of given something else. It's given another, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know how they define it, but there are many men out there, successful men, who are going on the hunches. And and the fact that women choose to do it in a way that is softer, you know, is just more, feels more like flow. It doesn't have that hard, rugged, masculine edge. That's what kind of makes people, you know, when they look at the two, they go, this looks normal, but this other piece here doesn't look like it's got any credibility, because you just, you know, it sounds all a bit woo woo and it sounds a bit mumbo jumbo, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And so I feel like it's, you know, the best way to shore up your confidence is to make that declaration and do it. Just keep playing with your intuition in the smallest little ways. So just, you know, following, you know, if you get a little nudge to do something, you don't have to like take on this big project, but just do it in your day-to-day life. If you're kind of driving along and you feel, I'm going to go left today instead of right, instead of saying, well, I always go right, so I'm going to go right, just say, I'm just going to go left. Let me go left and see what happens. And the more we do that, the more we get that confirmation and that affirmation that our intuition is always right, or it's leading us down these magical paths. And it's just, you know, it's reprogramming the brain to just believe that there's nothing woo-woo about it. It's totally normal. Like you say, Tammie, it is our innate power. It is who we are. And we can either, I guess, even take it another step and go, well, in this now moment, am I choosing to believe a false premise that's come from another, you know, a paradigm where logic did rule, and that's great, but we're not there anymore. We're here where women are rising up and women are owning their power, and this is crucial to us taking powerful steps. Let's just decide we're going to do it our way. We're just going to play with this intuition thing, and maybe not even talk about it to people who don't understand. Just be the example of someone who does it. And when they say, well, why is your business doing so great? Or, you know, why does your parenting look so easy? Or, you know, why does it look like you've just got this awesome life? Then you can say, well, oh, it's this little thing called intuition or whatever, you know. It's just like, it's just about lining up with it yourself, settling into it yourself and just doing it. And then, you know, rather than trying to change everybody else and get everybody else on board. That's how it feels to me. And I'm non-confrontational. So that's really given me it's actually funneled me into the place of being the example rather than being the advocator, because I was always so scared of someone retaliating or someone, you know, someone getting upset and doing, you know, like people would say, you know, burning me at the stake or persecuting me for what I talk about. So I just went there first and just kept it to myself and did it how I wanted to do it. And it was like a need to know thing. If you wanted to know about it, I told you about it. I didn't go out there and put myself out there. And now I can, because I'm comfortable with that now. And I know that it works. I know that this is the way forward for women. There's no doubt at all. So now I can stand there. And if anybody comes at me, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't impact me in any way, because I know, I'm convicted in it. And I can just look at that person and they can't wobble me for saying that it's you know, that it's got no credibility, or that it's, you know, it's whatever it is, you know, mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and this is a thing that every person should know, men or woman, is that it's not an easy journey to follow this path. It is one where you have to continually show up, do the inner work, gain that strength, gain that confidence, gain that rock solid foundation of self-love that feeds all the rest. And if you're struggling with intuition, it's usually when we're in overwhelm, we're disconnected, we're fearful, all that kind of stuff. So as Karen said, if we find that time to do it without having to actually do it in the big wide world, do it where you just are leading by example. And that might be even with your children, taking time to be still, to do the things that bring you joy, to start uncovering those things that feel good in your life, so you can start channeling or calling in that intuitiveness or the guidance or whatever you're wanting to start following this path. But again, it's taking these steps one step at a time, not feeling you have to be you know, being able to shout it out to the world. Because for me also, it took me many years to get to this place where I go, everyone has their own opinion, and if they, you know, I'm happy to discuss stuff, but if they totally disagree and put me down, that's okay too, because that's their choice. I have a choice not to react to that. But again, to get to that point, it took time and effort. And I want to lead into this as well, is a lot of mums have shame and guilt about being a mumpreneur. I don't want to say just mumpreneur, but a woman entrepreneur. And this leads me into the next question, Karen, is how have you navigated being a mum of 3 women, a wife, a household, you know, running a household, I should say, and being able to grow your business to where it is today?
I have to attribute it to this connection to my knowing. I feel that the more deeply I've connected into my knowing, the more I've been able to, let's call it, manage my time or manage things in a better way, because I'm kind of flowing with nudges, and so, you know, I'm kind of able to know when I need to pull back, know when I need to, you know, take more time for the self-love, know when I need to give my children more, you know, when they're calling for something more, just by feeling into it and having this communion with my knowing. I'm so well ensconced in it now that it's the way that I do things, but I just love it. I love that I can get this feeling to, you know, go and be around one of my children instead of, you know, pushing through and finishing off a blog, say. I just get this feeling, oh, and I'll just go and take myself into the other room where they are, and then they'll turn up and they'll start talking about something. And it's such a more easy way to live, because you're not going from that place of guilt. You're not sitting there writing your blog post and saying, I should be spending time with my children. You're kind of trusting that the universe or whatever's out there is actually orchestrating everything perfectly, that you don't need to be on watch all the time to see if your kids are okay, because you'll get the nudge, and it'll be when they're ready and when you're ready, and you'll kind of rendezvous together, and you know you've trusted, you've put down your tools, so your blog post can wait, because it doesn't matter. Again, you know it's going to go out at the perfect time. So when we have this kind of, it's almost like living in, it's living in the way that young children live, you know, where they just live in that kind of imaginary world where everything's just all moonshine and roses and everything's just great. And it's kind of buying into that belief that everything can actually unfold perfectly for us and in the right time, and the way to be able to live like that is to have that connection to the knowing. So I'm not saying that, yeah, life is all moonshine and roses, because we all have our stuff. We all have days where we don't want to show up, where we don't want to work, or we don't want to be a mother anymore, or we don't want to, you know, that's just part of it. But when you know that you've got something that never ever wavers, something that is always there guiding you, or, you know, looking out for you, whatever it is that you can focus on and come back to, it actually makes life a lot easier. It makes things look a lot easier. So that's how I've managed to feel like, you know, there's days where I feel it's hard, the juggle's hard, but I know on those days when the juggle is hard, I'm in my head and I'm out of flow. And then it's making that choice in the moment again, going, well, okay, I know this feeling, this overwhelm just means I'm disconnected from myself. Let me do whatever it takes to come back so that I can be, you know, be nudged back on the path. Yeah,
amazing. And I guess it's this thing of letting go of control and not always needing to, I think as moms, you know, we really feel we have to be doing everything for everyone, and I really think this is a misconception in our society that we have to do this, because it's, for me, I don't at all. I've completely changed from who I thought I should be to who I know I am, and my life looks completely different. Like, it has been turned on its head. My husband, like, it was a huge change for him as well as my children, but now we have more harmony, we have more love, we have more respect and time, and, you know, it flows so much better. But someone looking in, it might not suit them, you know what I mean? It might not suit them, it might be too crazy or too sporadic or too much, but that's okay, because this is my way. And it's exactly like we're talking about intuition for business, it's also that intuition in your whole areas of your whole life. And as soon as you start trusting, you stop caring about judgments or the need of approval or any of those other things that sometimes we let impact us or we base our decisions on. But what I really want to share, and I know you believe this too, is that if we know it's from our heart, if we know that it's our truth, that it's always going to be the best for us and our most loved ones, and it doesn't matter what anyone says outside of you, that's their opinion based on their knowledge, their experiences, their thinking and preconceived ideas. It's not to be taken as gospel and actually molding your life around what someone else says or expects of you. So thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's such a huge important point to really bring home to women who are in business, who are a mother or whoever, like, are wanting to live their life in truth, because this is what is huge in our society, isn't it? Like, being impacted by outside sources.
Absolutely. And I feel that's the biggest source of our struggle, really. You know, the struggle is us buying into all of those expectations and then making them the yardstick that we measure ourselves against, instead of finding what works for us. And there's this kind of, we have this joke in our family, you know, that you know, I just say, in Karen's world, this is how it looks, you know. and I've really just come to believe that, so that I say I don't live in that world. If someone's talking about something that doesn't resonate with me, or I don't particularly want to buy into, I just say I don't live in that world. In Karen's world, this is how it looks. In Karen's world, this is how I do things. And I want everybody to do that for themselves, even my children. I don't say, well, in Karen's world, this is how we do things, so you're going to do it Karen's way. It's what's your way? What is your inside telling you? How do you want it to be? How do you want it to look? What makes sense to you? And once we do that and we become comfortable with that, we start to vibrate that. And then when someone else does say, well, that's not how I would do it, you go, well, that's great. And in your head, you're saying, that's perfect, because in Karen's world, this is how we do it. And in your world, that's how you do it. And that's cool. There is no judgment. It's only when we're trying to meet those expectations that when other people say something to us, we kind of feel judged because we're questioning. And I believe the reason we question is because our knowing knows that we have our own way, and we just haven't believed that enough yet. We're still trying to find what's out there that's going to actually resonate and what's going to fit with us. But there isn't anything. We know by now, there isn't anything. There's only what makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me feels so good. It's so liberating to have your way and your own world, and to know that I can do this way. And if somebody else, like you say, if someone else says, don't do it that way, I always come back and go, but it feels so right. And that's what I used to say all my life. I used to say, but it makes so much sense to do it this way. And they'd go, but you don't do it that way. That's not how it's done. You have to do it this way. And I believed them. I got to a point where I'd been well enough conditioned and programmed that my way was wrong and their way was right. And this opened up a huge can of worms when I started, well, when you become a mother, firstly, and you're trying to get it all right. And secondly, when you start a business. And, you've got all these things coming to your knowing, saying to you, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And then everybody else, and you say to someone well-meaning, oh, I think I'm going to do my marketing this way. And they go, no. Look at all the stats. Look at all the numbers. It can't work. And then you go, oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Why was I thinking that? I must be wrong. Let me go and do it that way. And then we end up back in that cycle again. And it's just, we have to know that there is nothing wrong with us, that there is nothing wrong with us. It's the same as we sort of tell our children, like, you're awesome, you can do whatever you want, you can be whatever you want. And it's like we know that they're limitless, or we believe that they're limitless, or we hope that they're limitless, but we're the same. We're exactly the same. What we can see in them, yes, we've got in ourselves.
Exactly. And you just hit the nail on the head with, we are limitless. We are truly limitless. We only allow ourselves to be limited by past experiences, beliefs, expectations, judgments, all that kind of stuff that we choose to hold on to. Because in each moment, we have a choice to make a step forward into who we are, with our intuition, with knowing that we are limitless. And that choice can lead you anywhere that you choose it to go. But as soon as you allow yourself to be limited, that step becomes maybe off path, or maybe goes in a direction that you truly don't want to go, because it's based on, well, this person said I should be doing this, or it's not good if I do it my way, so you should be doing this way. And then we start walking this path that isn't aligned to us. But if we come back to this moment, to the present now, and know that our whole being, we are limitless, we are all equal, we are all one, imagine where we all will go.
Oh my gosh.
Like it would be so heart-centered. It'd be so true and authentic, rather than all this, greed and competitiveness. You come back and go, I'm unique, I'm one, yet I'm unique in who I am. So I can collaborate, I can share, even if it's with people who are in similar modalities or whatever, because you just know that it's okay, because you have your vibration attracts your tribe, and that other person has their vibration attracts their tribe. But together, imagine how many people you attract even more. And this is the way of the new world, isn't it?
It is the way of the new world. It is, everything is an inside job, and we've got to keep focused on what's aligned for us, that no amount of pushing and taking action that's out of alignment with who you are and what you're here to do is going to get you results. You're just going to keep pushing a rock up a hill, and the thing about the world that we're moving into is that everybody can read energy, whether they know it or not. Everybody feels the misalignment. So when you're out there, and you could be just scheduling in hundreds of Facebook posts, you know, because that's what I should be doing. And I'm just going to pull stuff from here and here. And I'm not connecting from my heart. I'm not speaking from alignment. And then people read the posts, or they see the post, they scroll past the posts, because when they read the post, something's off. Something's just not sitting right. So they don't feel inspired to work with you. And then you're sitting there saying, well, where are my clients? Where are my people? Mm-hmm. Well, they're there, mm-hmm. but they are aligned to you. They are aligned to you. So you have to be aligned to you in order for them to see you and you know, get the post to ping on their radar, and they go, oh my gosh, who's this person? You know, and it's the same with the collaborations. We've got to be so discerning and really fussy about who we come together with, that we know, you know, like when you and I come together, we just know we don't look at what each other's doing and look at each other's credentials. We just have this knowing, this is going to be amazing. We're going to get together and we're going to have goosebumps. We know it. And imagine a world like that where no one's thinking of competition or who's going to lose out. It's all just like, this feels so friggin' right. I'm going to just do it. Yeah. Mm. So exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, for both of us, and that's our world is this. And again, it's not that any fears or limiting beliefs never come up. They do, but we have the tools, we have the confidence, we have the knowledge and the belief that we can work through them. They are no longer us. They're just part of the story that we've been holding on to, a limiting belief that we let go of. And again, step forward. And I love every time something comes up, because I'm like, oh, I'm pushing a new limit. Oh, I'm going deeper now. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, well, I'm ready to clear this. And something that was coming up was jealousy. And I'm like, ooh. And it came up with the woman I was talking to, and she was talking about it and how she sees it. And then I was thinking about how I see it. And then I got an email that week from a woman who I follow on Facebook. Yeah, she shared about it. So it's really awesome to share, and I'd love for you to share your thoughts on it too. But jealousy is just another amazing emotion on our radar to say, ooh, hang on, there's something here. Like, what is it that I'm actually triggered or reacting to? And before I go into mine, I'd love to share, like for you to share, what do you feel about that when women see other women in business and they start comparing? How is it, what can they do with that feeling?
It's so interesting, because there's so many nuances to the jealousy thing. And, you know, it could be, you know, in my case, I had this kind of jealousy thing going where I would invite someone into a group or a mastermind, and suddenly this person would be revered by everyone else in the mastermind and get all this attention, and everybody resonated with their work. And I'd feel this pang of jealousy, and I think, what? I'm like, why my first reaction was, why wasn't I told not to let her in? Because I let her in with open, I knew I had to let her in so that this could play out. I knew I had to let her in, and it felt so right. And so that was my first gut reaction, was what is going on here? And then I sat with it, and what I realized in my case was the birth of my sister. So I'm the eldest child, and I welcomed my sister with open arms because we're soulmates, or, you know, and here she came. And then of course everybody put all their attention on the new baby, and there I was there feeling like this. And I'd obviously not ever cleaned that up, because I knew this pattern. When I saw this pattern show up, I knew that it was a pattern that I'd seen many times before. And it's that seeing it, feeling it, feel that discomfort, and then go, this is amazing, because this is an opportunity for me to move past something, because I am going to collaborate, and I am going to invite people, and I am going to get that feeling that's so right to have that person with me. And I can't have this little thing happening when I'm creating big change with the people that I collaborate with. So it's like always a perfect opportunity to clean something up. Then there's other parts of one very, very amazing revelation that came to me once. Again, it wasn't so much a jealousy thing, but it was a looking at someone else's success and kind of feeling a bit bummed, kind of going, well, I've got everything that person has. Well, I believe I have everything that person has. Now, why are they having all the success that I want, and I don't have the success that they're having? And what came to me from my knowing was such a clear message that that person is showing you, if you can see yourself in that person, there's your success. They're showing you the possibility of where you can get to. So change the story. So don't sit in the feeling of that jealousy or that envy. Jump into the feeling of, oh my goodness, look at where I'm going. Look at what's going to unfold for me, because I know if I'm like that person, I can. If it's possible for them, it's possible for me. You know, so there's so many different ways it can show up, but it comes back, like you say, to having the awareness, having the tools, and then being able to just change it, just even reframe it in that moment, because there's two sides to everything. So, you know, what is this actually, what's on the other side of this? What's the flip side of this? That's the positive, rather than the, you know, what my story would have been with that woman who was having so much more success than me would have been, well, it's not possible for me. I can't do it. It's probably because I'm this, rather than she has just shown me exactly what's possible for me and I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. And yes, that's exactly how I feel. And it's reprogramming ourselves to acknowledging that no feeling, bad feeling, and that we can always, if we take the moment to really just sit with it, even though it's so uncomfortable, we're not used to being uncomfortable, but start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because it means change, it means evolution, it means growth. And it's exciting because it's just leading you on the path again to clearing and opening and absorbing and embodying the way who you truly want to be. And I love that, because when I was seeing these women, that's why jealousy came up for me, because I was seeing these women, I'm going, you know, first initial response was like, you know, oh my God, you know, I've done this, I should, you know, getting really shitty. I'm like, hang on a minute, this woman is amazing. This woman is absolutely divine in being able to be successful and, you know, share her truth so authentically and helping so many women. And then what I see in her is what I see in myself, and I love that I can see myself being there. And oh my God, I'm sending her so much love for showing me the way and showing it's possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as soon as we start getting into this love and gratitude and appreciation rather than shame, guilt, and all that kind of stuff, we start changing that energy, and we start calling in new experiences and new situations and new people to help support us to get to there, don't we?
Totally. And I love that you've brought up the whole gratitude thing, because really it's the, you know, if we think about our knowing, our intuition being who we are, and just being that innate energy of who we are, the same is for that frequency or that vibration of appreciation, that it's the same frequency. So if we can spend so much time in appreciation, we're really, really lined up and one with our knowing, with who we are. And so the more we can practice that, the more we can focus on that flip side, the positive flip side, the how thankful we are for being shown that. It's almost like, you know, when we start a business and we want success and we want, or we just want to pay the bills. It doesn't need to be a big, you know, we want to be Oprah. It's just, we want a result from our business. And when we've set out that intention, it's almost like the universe or whatever says, great, okay, I'm just going to, you know, make sure that you have a clear trajectory to success. And in order to have that clear trajectory, you need to be out of your way. So so all these things kind of get brought into your path to clear it, so that you can get there. Otherwise, you're always going to be hitting that ceiling and not moving past. But you have to be out of your way. So it's such a blessing that these people show up and trigger us, for want of another word, or, you know, just bring us to a place of feeling discomfort. And the discomfort is just, oh, here, it's an indicator of, here's something that I can bring into my awareness, so that I can step closer to my greatness, to my success, or to the outcomes that I want. It's all, so if we even reframe it like that it's actually on our side, it's happening for us, not to us, that, you know, we can look at it in such a different way, that it's not a suffering, or it's not an obstacle, or it's not something's gone wrong. It's something going so right that I can shift so that I can keep moving forward.
Yeah, amazing. It's an absolute pleasure talking to you, and so many women and whoever else watching this, men, women, no doubt be inspired and ignited by this conversation with you. And so I'd love for you to share how to work with you, or how do they find out about how to work with you?
So the best place to get to know me is in my Facebook group, the Effortless and Aligned Leaders Collective. That really is where we have a live Q&A every Tuesday, and that's where people can come and really experience, how I see the world, how other people who are exploring doing life and business their way see the world, and what kind of, how we all share the same struggles, if you will. We all have the same questions. And, for me, that's how I like to do it. I like to invite everybody to come into my pond, check it out, feel the water, see if it's for you. And, and then when you're in there, you'll always find out how else to work with me. If you want to go just straight to, applying to work for Karen, it's karengeddis.com, work with me. And there's a little bit of information in there about sort of how, the ways to work with me. But start with my group. It's a really great place to hang out.
Fantastic. That's my phone. Sorry about that. I thought I turned it off. So I'll just pause. Hang on. I'll stop it. Muted. It stopped. Sorry, I can just delete that bit. But thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you just expand and grow and share this really important message even further, helping people find their unique pathways in business and in life, and really coming back to your innate aligned nature and finding more confidence, I guess, and flow in what you do. So thank you so much, Karen. You are an amazing woman, and I love you so much. And I hope that we can do this again one day. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see where all of this goes, where your conversations take everybody who's watching.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Earth Radiance TV. I will post up everything where you can find Karen, her groups and her links for websites on this episode. So take care, beautiful people. Know that you are worthy. Start listening to your intuition and trusting that you really do know the best way for you. Sending you all so much love, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Mwah.